So we're in Amsterdam for the Broadband World Forum, and I'm here speaking with Mike Wright from Telstra and Rami Rahim from Juniper. So welcome, guys. Now Mike, can you tell us a little bit about the new network architecture that Telstra is deploying?
Yeah, let me start a little bit by setting up the Telstra business. Telstra is a full service provider. We're facing the same challenges that everybody is. We run ADSL networks, a HFC network. We're seeing traffic growth doubling in our network about every 15 months. So we're looking to, firstly, how do we manage that growth at the most optimum unit cost? But we're also looking at a fairly substantial network transformation. We have a national broadband network coming up, where Telstra will actually move from being the incumbent provider of access to actually seeking access on a GPON-based fibre network.
Right.
And we're taking advantage of that transition to actually transition our network architecture. We've traditionally seen networks as separate. We've had a network service provider view of the world, where we moved everything across the network at a different network layer. We're actually taking the advantage to change the network architecture through the new BNG that we're developing through with Juniper, which is going to move the edge of the network, the BNG, back closer to the customer and give us the opportunity to build a lower cost network and also add services at the edge of the network as we go forward.
So Rami, what has this meant in terms of Juniper's equipment being deployed in the Telstra network?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, Juniper is a leader in high-performance networking, and it's a pleasure for us to work with customers such as Telstra that are really forward-looking, that are pushing the envelope on capacity, pushing the envelope on service innovation. At the edge of the network, Juniper has developed this concept of the universal edge. This is all about a platform that can provide newer and newer services over time through the introduction of just software as a means of evolving the service provider business models over time. So if you take a look at the MX, for example, we've recently introduced the MX 2020, which is a high capacity 80 terabit per second platform that can support a variety of different services, including BNG functionality. But at the same time, we have introduced new tools, new innovations into our products that are aimed at accelerating the pace of service introduction into the network. So you take, for example, a look at the Junos vApp engine, which is all about bringing technology, virtualization, to enable the introduction of services in their native operating systems onto the edge of the network for innovative new service deliveries such as targeted advertisements, such as security. The sky's the limit in terms of the possibilities.
So Mike, Rami just mentioned a few of the applications there that are enabled in this new network, but where do you think you might start in terms of new service creation?
The reality is the world we're in today, we're still somewhat lacking in sophistication. I call it the sledgehammer approach to dealing with growth. We're actually looking at more efficient platforms, and it's all about bandwidth growth at the moment. Where we want to get to is a world where we can actually move that to a more sophisticated way of managing traffic. So we're looking at more real-time traffic flow management. How can we add value to traffic flow? How can we differentiate services at the edge of the network through some of these great new features and functionality, whether it be quality of service or application environments? And how can we inject things like media and content closer to the edge to ultimately make the network more efficient? Because what we want to be able to do is deliver more services to our customers at an economic price and get off this treadmill that we seem to be on, which is continuing to drive a simple growth in volume and forever just building capacity and not really evolving sophistication. This is a platform that we think can help us build that future.
So when you talk about moving things closer to the edge of the network, are we talking about the caching of applications or content right at the edge in the same platform that's managing the applications at the same time?
There's a large range of opportunities there. To begin with, just by having this capability, this service-based platform near the edge of the network, you can do one or both.
Right.
So increasingly we can do things like, rather than ship things all the way across the network, and we're seeing it in many environments. We've even had the discussion recently about what's the future for mobile application distribution, where increasingly we see apps being updated every night. So I think the problem today is media, but in the future it could well be things like those that we want to look to solve the problem for, and having a platform like this that lets us do that and have the hooks and the technology at our disposal will let us solve these problems as they come into the future. So we're taking a longer term view of how do we build a platform that delivers us services into the future rather than just solving today's problem.
So Rami, Telstra's in almost a unique situation in the way it's architecting its network, but do you think Juniper will be able to take some of the lessons it's learned from this deployment and take those to other markets?
Absolutely. with Telstra, as is the case with many of our customers, a lot of the service innovation has to happen at the edge of the network. That is, at the end of the day, where services are delivered from. So the most important thing for us to do is to ensure that we maintain the capacity leadership to enable our customers to keep ahead of the traffic growth curves that are affecting them from the video traffic, mobile traffic, and so forth. The second very important thing is just what we can do to lower the cost or the sort of the hurdles to innovation, to the rollout of new services. We really think that we have some great sort of services in the company that we can develop for our customers, but we also believe that there are some great innovative services that exist outside of Juniper that we want to tap into. And the best thing that we can do is to enable those services at the edge of the network by lowering those barriers, lowering the cost of the introduction of those services. And that's exactly what our strategy has been with the MX Universal Edge and innovative products like the Junos vApp engine.
Well, it's a really interesting story about a new evolution, a new way of doing things for service providers, so it'll be a good story to watch. So thanks for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.